Welcome to I Digress, coming to you live. So what? This is my microphone.
You like pubes on your mic?
This is my microphone. You worry about your microphone.
No, my microphone doesn't have pubes on it. So
I can change that. Welcome to I Digress. Today we got a spicy one. Gonna be reacting to some Thomas Sowell. Now here's what I know about him. It's not much. I know he's an economist. I know he's apparently a really smart dude. I've heard some black people pretty much be like, oh, he hates his race. Which, of course, man, like I should watch this guy. I should see what they're talking about. He's talking about black culture. This may be triggering.
I mean, they said the same thing about Ice Cube. And I'm team him. So
now I'm not gonna go through and fact check anything he's saying right now. This is just kind of like a first kind of glance, absorb what he's saying, see how I feel about it type thing.
yeah, okay.
Well, let me read what you say in your preface. You say, "Let me state here, and now that these essays do not mean 1, all Southern whites were or are rednecks; 2, all black Americans today or in the past were or are black rednecks. One cannot predict," you write, "much less forestall all the clever misinterpretations that others might put on one's words. The most that can be done is to alert honest people to the problem. Black rednecks, who are they?"
These would be blacks who came out of the Southern culture and who carried that culture with them, north into the urban ghettos and into the ghettos of the South for that matter, and who have not moved out of that culture since. Over the years, both blacks and whites have moved away from that culture. But in the poorest and worst of the ghetto areas, there are lots of people who have not. And these kinds it's a culture which didn't do whites any good, and it's certainly not doing blacks any good today. And the tragedy is that people regard this culture as somehow the authentic black culture, and therefore you're not to interfere with it.
I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't feel no ways tired.
Woo. Hey man, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Hillary Clinton pandering is triggering to me. Oh my gosh. When that Breakfast Club, when she said she had hot sauce in her purse.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are
you getting information right now?
I come too far from where I started from.
That was really cringy.
After the Second World War, you've got large numbers of American troops remaining in Germany. For that matter, there's still several tens of thousands there today. And both black and white American soldiers had children with German women. And Flynn discovered that those children growing up in Germany showed no IQ differences at all. The black kids and the white kids, the same. Professor Flynn concluded that the reason was that the offspring of black soldiers in Germany grew up in a nation with no black subculture, close quote. Which means what? Which means they experienced exactly the same expectations. Is this
No, the expectations are external. The culture in which they grew up was not the culture in which black kids grew up in America today.
So they had...
There's no gangster rap that was pervasively available in Germany.
So here's what I'm getting. There is something about black subculture in America today that holds African Americans themselves back.
Yes, because
this feels oddly racist just because there's a white guy there. And that cough was because you're guilty.
Yes.
You think there's some merit to what he's saying?
Yeah, I think black culture is harmful. You know, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about my favorite rapper is 2 Chainz. Favorite and best are not the same thing, but 2 Chainz got a little sauce on me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like a trap star. You know what I mean? And I am from Frisco, Texas. You should Google it. So that's clearly not, I wasn't throwing bands in the trap house by any means.
It's a rich suburb of
Frisco
Dallas.
has rich people that live there. Not everybody there is rich. I can't necessarily say that I was a rich kid.
I didn't say you. I'm just saying like the suburbs.
Frisco is rich.
Yeah, like I lived in Montgomery County. We were on Section 8, but it's still one of the richest counties in America.
Okay. With that, I'll take it.
You're not gonna take away my thug card, nigga.
I'm just saying. Lap dance in the trap house.
Get a lap dance off in a trap house.
Okay, but the point is, that man has his master's.
Oh, yeah, 2 Chainz.
And he didn't even get it in prison or something,
Yeah, it's not like honorary.
So it's just kind of like, okay, these are our scholars, and that's the example that they're setting. And this is what, all the other young men are striving to be, So I can't necessarily say that this man, he's spitting. He's spitting.
Yeah. It's rubbing.
I don't like it. I do disagree with the black vernacular thing, though.
Yeah, we had that conversation. I think that's just a conversation for another day.
It's a conversation for another day. It is. I'm just saying. I don't agree with that part of what he said, but so far I think he's firing on all cylinders.
I've heard you say, Tom, when you were a boy growing up in Harlem yourself, your own neighborhood felt totally safe to you.
Not totally safe. I wouldn't exaggerate, but there's nothing resembling today. I mean, I did sleep on hot nights. I would sleep out on the fire escape. When I tell people in Harlem that today, they think I'm from another galaxy, But that people slept on the fire escapes in New York and in the public parks in the 30s, all over the city, because it was not a junk.
In the 30s, how old is this man? Back in 1796, I mean.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family. We are done watching them die.
How do you define a white liberal?
Those kinds of people who have the kinds of attitudes that are called liberal in the United States, although the word is misused, those people have created an atmosphere in which these counterproductive cultures are to be celebrated, perpetuated, and the consequences overlooked. It reminds me of a scene in the Blue Max where this general is encouraging this daredevil pilot to do all kinds of wild stunts, you see, knowing that the guy's going to kill himself if he keeps doing this, and therefore the general will be rid of a political problem. Now, I don't think that the white liberals are doing this deliberately, but I think the net results are the same. They are cheering blacks on and doing things that are absolutely self-destructive.
What do you think of that? Of what he said about white liberals?
Yeah. White liberals don't have a conversation of whether something is right or wrong. It's only whether something should be accepted.
That's a bar. For me, it seems like, especially recently, it just seems like white liberals are all for black people unless they have a difference of view than them.
Like in give me an example.
Like when you look at that whole thing that happened with it's not Cardi B, but what's the other one that Cardi B dethroned with the multiple? She had the multiple personalities. She was schizophrenic. Yeah, she had a big old butt, anaconda butt.
You talking about Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj, the schizophrenic. You don't know the schizophrenic?
Okay, go on.
But she had this post about CV-19 and the jab, and she was pretty much like talking about how she wasn't gonna get it, and pretty much everyone started calling her like a neo little mustache, you know what I'm saying, and right wing and all this stuff, and she's just like, yo, what? So I don't agree with y'all, and all of a sudden I'm all of these things. And it's just like, as long as we kind of support their side, they're with us, you know what I'm saying? But if we don't become one of their strength in numbers, I think we see them turn real quick. It's an illusion. And that being said, I don't think liberals, Democrats, Republicans, or conservatives are our friends. I don't think blue or red is a friend of black people. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It's not an issue of blue or red for me. But what I do think is that at least with one side, we know they may or may not want us to be slaves again. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're kind of open about that. The other side, I think they lying through their teeth, yo. Let me not say lying. I don't think it's intentional, but their love is conditional. And I don't think a lot of black people can see that. You know what I mean?
If black people couldn't vote, do you think that like democratic elections and that liberalism, do you think that would all look this?
Like, would they pander to us? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Look, I grew up playing in church for a long time. I played in storefront churches that are literally like storefronts, and like the church is somebody's family. Like everybody in there related to, like, you know, big black mega churches with tens of thousands of members. And I've seen this like clockwork, especially for the bigger, medium to bigger churches. Man, you see them blue ties coming around every election time of the year. Every election time of the year, they start coming around and it's like, hey, you know, I love fried chicken too. Praise the Lord.
Hot sauce.
Really? And it's just like the pander is real. And for me, I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like foxes are going to do what foxes do. My disappointment has always been with the pastors that slutted out their congregation to these political parties that came around every single time they needed, you know, our vote and our strength, and then was gone for the whole election term. Yeah, I do not think that there would be, what? If we still, what? They wouldn't talk, they wouldn't know us. They wouldn't be marching for no Black Lives Matter. No.
So to be fair, same question. Would that apply to anybody? Like if Mexicans couldn't vote, would it be the same thing? Or if gay people, LGBTQ, if they couldn't vote, would it be the same thing? Is that just kind of the way the cookie crumbles, or?
Two different things. Mexicans, I think they would be in the same boat. LGBT or whatever, that is them. That's their interest.
Okay, you know how they say gay rights are human rights, so civil rights are human rights, or whatever, like making it all the same thing. Because it's been made the same thing, I think it's going to be hard to see why the interest is different. So why is the black interest different than the liberal interest, but the gay interest is the same as the liberal?
The gay interest is the liberal interest that was tacked on to civil rights. A lot of the groundwork that the LGBT, and shout out to them, this isn't against them, but it's just facts. A lot of the groundwork that they have used to be able to gain what they have gained is the groundwork that the civil rights movement has done. You know what I'm saying? The reality situation is, it's like during the civil rights movement, it started with just black people, and then some liberals got involved. And then all of a sudden, the civil rights movement went from being a black thing to being a black thing, a woman thing, a gay thing. Like, it's all of these things got lumped in together, and it's like, no disrespect, only one group in there has been enslaved. So I don't know how they're all on equal footing. Now when you hear things talked about, it's not a black issue, it's a minority issue. It's this intersectional, it's all these things, and it's like black has been washed down with all these other, it's just a bucket of oppressed now. You know what I mean? And to the point where it's like, you got people, the LGBT, whatever, talking to us crazy, like, like we weren't the ones enslaved. You don't know what it's like. We don't know. Really?
You know, it's kind of funny, like how you said, I don't know if I overthought it, but like you said, it's like a bucket of oppressed, and it's just like, okay, so black people like are the most concentrated in the oppression, so they like sink to the bottom of the bucket.
You're way smarter than I am. Because I, like the manifesto of the BLM or whatever, how they changed it, but in the beginning, it used to say like, we're literally here to dismantle the traditional family structure. And that was in the BLM manifesto. How does that help Black people when we don't have fathers in the home? And that's the number one thing destroying our families and our community. That doesn't help us. So it's like, no, like our goals are not necessarily aligned. You know what I mean? And even if you look at Black churches, like Black churches vote at a rate of 90%, Black people vote as a rate of 90% Democrat. You go to Black churches, they're all blue. It's hard to find a Republican Black church. It's like thine eyes have never seen. You understand? But you go to some of these churches and you be like, yo, man, like you Democrat? Like, yes, absolutely. Like the Republicans are racist. Like, okay, cool. Fair enough, baby. Like, you cool with all this LGBTQs that, whoa, there's 13 lights in here. Never seen that before. And it's just like when you start getting down to it, it's like, nah, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the stuff that they did, the pandering. They said they was gonna do stuff for us. They said they was gonna give us some money and that other stuff. I don't know nothing about that. And it's really no different than any other group of people. It's like, how many times, like when Orange Man went into office and like white people can come out and be like, yes, I voted for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the coast was clear. And you'd be like, you voted for that man, he's evil or something like that. And they'll be like, I mean, I didn't like this, the grab her by the genitalia stuff. It was the taxes for me. It's like everybody's voting for their own interests, right? You know what I'm saying? So like that's going to happen regardless. But I think for us, we're pandered to with this kind of hope, dream, and a lie. And when you break down some of the policies in a lot of places, not everywhere, but they don't even really help. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. If we couldn't vote, please.
Somewhere watching this interview, there's a young Thomas Sowell. There's an African American who's smart and wants.
I don't like how he said that. Somewhere watching this interview, there's a Thomas Sowell out there. There's an African American who is smart. Somewhere out there. I mean, just close your eyes. No. Let's do this together. Close your eyes. I want you to envision a big lip, big nose, swinging at his knees, curly haired, young Thomas Sowell. Huh? And he's intelligent. And people are looking at that swinging around and they're like, oh my gosh, look at it. But they're not noticing. Close your eyes. And they're not noticing his mind. He's out there somewhere waiting.
It's stupid. Play the damn video.
I mean, I know you didn't mean it like that. Somewhere
watching this interview, there's a young Thomas Sowell. There's an African American who's smart and wants to do something with his life. It seems to me we've already got.
Why it just seemed like he didn't have anything to say after that? He didn't
have anything left.
And wants to do something with his life. It seems to me we've already got one piece of advice you'd offer to him is stay away from the racist industry. Stay away from the race hustlers. What advice would you give a young Thomas Sowell? How do you make something of yourself as an African American in America today?
The way anybody else would. You equip yourself with skills that people are willing to pay for.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at Thomas Sowell. I thought it would be much worse, and maybe there's probably more better clips out there that is probably other stuff that that's probably worse. You know what I mean? Like I probably maybe by accidentally picked the wrong clip, but yeah, it's like I don't think he's saying anything crazy for real. I do think it's just one of those things like the Shahrazad Ali. It don't feel good. It don't feel good. And medicine typically don't taste good. If in fact this is medicine, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can understand why people wouldn't like it. But I don't know. Maybe y'all can let me know in the comment section below. Where was a lie in what we watched? What you think?
Not only did I agree with most of what he said, like that's one thing. I didn't agree with part of it, but it's like he makes a valid argument.
He does make a valid argument.
So it's
right
like
or
I
wrong.
can't be mad
Yeah.
at what he's saying, whether I agree with it or not, or whether it pertains to me or not, or he's spitting like.
Yeah.
It ain't no problem.
I think we need to move on.
And just, somewhere out there, there's a Thomas Sowell who's going to like and subscribe and catch us on the next video. He's out there. He's intelligent and he wants to do the right thing. And he's going to go down. He's going to click on that red subscribe button and then over to the notification bell. Ding, ding. My gosh. And he's going to see us on the next video. Man, he's out there somewhere. He's got to be. Even if it's just one.